Good day, everybody.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of the Good Day podcast.
Kory was very unsure about that one.
Yeah, it's been so many. I just keep losing track. We're here. We're in Bustleton, Western Australia. This is the same continent as regular Australia. I know you had a little bit of confusion about that.
Mai is Kory's grandmother.
Yes.
Shout out to Mai. She is gotta be our top fan because a lot of you guys listen to every episode, but Mai will listen before we even post it on the Instagram page, so...
Yeah, and I think she listens whenever it drops. So it's
that's what I mean.
2:45 in the morning. Yeah, she's listening.
But shout out to everyone else, though. Like, so many of you have been telling us you listen to every episode, and we're just absolutely shocked. We love you. If you've made it to episode 13, send us a text, a DM, something. Let us know you're listening to episode 13.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, guys. We kind of just did this as something for us, but we're really happy that people actually listen. And, hopefully it's entertaining for you to hear about what we're doing. And, yeah, we're really happy with all our listeners that we have.
If you have any suggestions, let us know.
Yeah. And it's been fun just, saying these experiences we're having, and hopefully one day we'll be able to listen to it back and say, oh, my God, that was so much fun.
Yeah, I would list a bunch of you, but I feel like I would just miss so many people's names. But, the Raffones, Alicia, Malcolm, Auntie Chris, 2-4, so many of you. I could go on and on.
Yeah, we got some great diehard supporter fans out there.
Anyways,
and we love them.
We love you guys.
Maybe we should get some merch soon. Give our listeners some merch.
That would be so cool. If anyone could help us out with that, let us know.
Yeah. So we are in this little small town that seems like, from what we've talked to people, it's like the Florida of Western Australia, where it's like a really big retirement community, a lot of just a whole lot of nice weather, and it's only 30 minutes from really nice wineries and very popular areas, like a vacation spot for a lot of people who live 2 hours north in the big city on the west coast of Perth.
Yeah, we learned that there's a cruise that local Perth people will take. That's a 3-day cruise to come down to this town.
Yeah.
But it's a 2-hour drive.
Yeah. It's pretty funny because we were talking when we got to this house. We were talking to some of the neighbors, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going on a cruise." And they're like, "Yeah, we're probably just going to come down here on the cruise," and they live here.
But I think it's kind of a big town. Kory's saying it's a small town. It's probably small compared to Perth. Yeah. We haven't been to Perth yet. But it's pretty big. It's bigger than Brantford, I would say.
Yeah, I think it's bigger than Brantford, but I don't know about population-wise. It's because you got to think Brantford has 30,000 people. Do you think 30,000 people live in this town?
Yeah, I don't know, but it has an information center. Yeah. It's big enough to have an info center.
Yeah, maybe New Haven size. I don't know what the population of New Haven is. Maybe 50,000 people? I have no idea, but it doesn't feel big at all. It has a really good small town feel, but it is very touristy and popular.
Did we say it was called Bustleton?
Yeah, Bustleton.
Home of the longest timberwood jetty in the southern hemisphere.
Yeah, and all that is because the water's so shallow. They needed to build a pier that was basically over a mile out into the ocean for to get supplies out and in. Yeah,
so the pier is about 2 kilometers long.
Yeah.
Kory and I were saying if you park 500 meters from the jetty, which is not
a
far.
5K.
Yeah, if you could run from your car to the end of the jetty and back to your car and run a 5K.
Yeah, and we've been getting all this fun fact information and stuff from this just random road trip book that we picked up in Sydney. Not really. When we got here, we didn't really know what we were doing. We were like, oh, we'll just see how this goes. And we're like, oh, let's pick up this road trip book. Let's do some of these. Maybe we'll check it out. I love maps and stuff, so it'd be cool to see. But now that thing is our straight up Bible. We're reading every section on it, and we've completed some of the road trips that are on it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And we did some unknowingly, actually. In Tasmania, we did some road trips that were in the book.
Yeah, because the book was in storage in Sydney. We just got it back when we picked up our stuff.
Yeah.
But it's been our Bible, and we're annotating it. But it's great. Shout out to Lee Anderson with the Coastal Road Trip book.
Oh, yeah, it's right
Ultimate Coastal Road Trips Australia.
Yeah, and it kind of just gives like...
From Kmart.
Yeah, from Kmart. It was probably like $6. It gives you like a nice description of like what you can do in the area and kind of gives you a good baseline route of like you're actually going to be traveling along this road and there's going to be stuff there. The towns are going to be nice. You're not getting into any like shady areas which you could be going into it blind. I feel like if you didn't have... I mean, there's probably not really many shady areas out here, but like you're going to a nice touristy town rather than just like somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been loving it. We've been checking off the bucket list on it, and one of those stops was Albany.
Yeah, so Esperance to Albany, we were told by some local farmer who said he lived in Albany, but turns out he lives in Ravensthorpe, which is like honestly probably closer to Esperance, in between the two towns. He told us, you can't skip Albany, you can't skip Albany. So many people skip it because there's a road that like cuts above. So we did not skip it, and it was great.
Yeah, it was a really, really... It was the biggest town we've seen since Melbourne, I think. I think it's, yeah.
Well, Adelaide.
Oh, yeah, Adelaide, sorry. Biggest town since Adelaide. Because there's nothing in between Adelaide and... Well, Esperance was small, but Albany is really big. It was the town was founded because during World War One, or no, there was like a military base basically during World War One where they sent all the troops
out from that port.
Yeah.
Or Fremantle and Perth.
Yes.
But mostly from Albany.
So during World War One, the New Zealanders and the Australians had a pact called the Anzacs, and they shipped all of their like army members and navy members over to, I think it was like the Egypt area and elsewhere in Europe for World War One, but they didn't want to leave separately, so they gathered all the ships together. I think it was like 40 ships carrying like horses, military ships, like all these people. They went all at once in like two really huge groups. So that was where they assembled before World War One, and that's kind of what started the city and what founded it. So it was really cool. We went to the Anzac Museum there and just kind of checked out the stories and the history of World War One and like how the Anzacs were involved and everything about it. And I thought it was really nice, like really good museum and really cool to learn about it.
Yeah, loved it. So we were here in like during the perfect time. Our friends that we met over in like Melbourne, they were like, oh, Anzac Day, you'll be in the West Coast. Oh, they'll be celebrating out there.
Yeah.
And we didn't realize it's because like Anzac Day, which stands for like I think Australian New Zealand Army Corps.
Yeah.
Like Kory said, they departed from this area and they
so
built like
really
a town
deal,
for World War One. But yeah, so the museum was cool.
It was like depressing though, just like hearing all these like World War One seemed like the worst thing ever. Like it was.
Yeah, it was sad. I told Kory, I was like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Because this is a little heavy, but
it was cool because they give you like cards of people to like
follow their life story around the museum.
I think Maxie, you got like a nurse.
A nurse who was a nun.
But my guy was insane. So they gave me a German soldier, and he got injured, or he got like shot 14 to injured. Like I don't know if it was like shrapnel or like gas wounds or whatever, but he got injured 14 times in World War One. Then he went on to fight in World War Two. And then he went on to live to be 104 years old. So this guy was, I think he died in 1998, but just like, and he was also a writer. So it's crazy that
he wrote over 50 books.
Yeah, someone could literally live through the worst. I think you could say it's the worst period in human history, like both the world wars, and up until like through the Vietnam War, and well, that was America. He probably wasn't involved in that. But like those two wars alone, living through that and then living to be 100 years old and being injured that many times was just insane.
Yeah, your guy was a legend. But we were there 2 days before actual Anzac Day and in the same exact area as Albany for Anzac Day. So that was pretty special because it's a huge deal out here. And what they do on Anzac Day is a sunrise service. They do usually a parade and a gambling game called Two Up that's, I think it's only legal on this holiday.
Yeah, explain the game.
So you get a group of people. Two people go into a big circle on the floor, like whether it's like a giant hula hoop or like a circle mat, and you toss 2 coins up into the air, just like heads and tails. And your goal is to get 2 heads to land on the inside the circle. If your coins go outside the circle, you have to rethrow. And by the way, your throw of the coins has to go at least 3 meters in the air. So it's kind of like tricky depending on how big the circle is. But if you do not get 2 heads, then you have to like keep
So you get 2 heads or 2 tails.
Oh, okay, yes. And the crowd is making a bunch of side bets on what it's gonna be. Yeah. So someone puts their $10 or $20 on their heads, and they're like, I'm heads, who wants to be my tails? And someone puts their $10 or $20 on their bum, and they say, I'm tails, I'll be your tails, and they swap money.
Yeah, so basically there's one bet against the house, and that's the person flipping the coins. I didn't really understand that part of the game, but I think it's either like a donation to the Anzacs that you give, and then you get to flip, because that's like everyone's the attention is on you, and you get to flip the coins, and the majority of the game are these side bets where it's you versus another person in the crowd, and it's basically you're picking heads or tails. And we were kind of watching this crowd. We went to like basically I would call it like a VA of Australia. I forget what it was, like a Lions Club.
They call it Returned Soldiers League.
Yeah. So it's like
a ton of people in their what do you call the uniforms? I don't know. They were in their military
Navy
uniforms.
Yeah.
I know this word, but that's okay.
Yeah, it was their classic like white navy looking uniforms. It was really cool to see, and it was cool to be part of that. Like we didn't really know anyone there, so we were kind of just observers and watching the game. And this was this was really cool to see. And they were like cooking up burgers and dogs, and they had old pictures of like the ships and all like the war memorials in this place in Bustleton.
Yeah, and right before that, before we got to Bustleton, we did the sunrise service in Margaret River, which was pretty cool. Huge turnout.
Yeah, I was shocked to see the amount of people there. So I didn't really know what a sunrise service is. For Anzac Day, they don't really have a sunrise service for like Memorial Day in the States. I think that's what like the 2 dates are comparable to, right?
I mean, there might be sunrise services, but this is like a part of their routine for Anzac Day. Like, there will be a sunrise service in almost every town.
Yeah, and so all over the country, there are these stone obelisks that were erected to commemorate the Anzacs and those who have fought in future wars all over. And every single small town has one. You'll see them on like the side of the highway. They're like the most popular memorial in all of Australia. And it's just a stone, like probably 20-foot stone statue, 10-foot stone obelisk, and that's where they do the service at. And I was shocked to see how many people turned up.
We were walking in the dark from our camping spot. It was like a 14-minute walk maybe.
Yeah.
And there were other people walking too. Like, we're like, wow, we're not alone in the dark right now.
No, and just like there was probably 500 people there in the morning, and I was like, oh, there's probably gonna be like 40 people. Like, this is a pretty small town, Margaret River, so we'll see like a few people here and there. But the place, you couldn't even find like a place to stand. It was pretty cool. Like it really gave you sense like of pride. Like they were proud of the Anzacs, and they're proud from where they come from. And like a lot of people here, at least, to go on a little side tangent, like, they seem like, oh, you're from America, it's all guns there, and like everyone's getting shot. But like seeing, like, I've had more sense of national pride for being an American being here than I did when I like was in America. Because just you like see what everyone else has, and then you're like, oh wow, like you kind of see how everyone looks at America, and either it's like, oh my God, it's like so bad there, or like, you're from America, I want to go. That's like the most, like they're like excited that you're American. So I don't know, just being here is giving me more sense of a national pride, I think.
Yeah, I want to give my 2 cents on that. I think we're still like a little rattled from our 3 weeks in New Zealand where everyone did act like, oh my God, you're American, ew,
Yeah.
awful country. And then Australians are not like that at all.
Especially Western Australians. I think,
yeah, Western Australians seem to like love that we're American so far. But Australians in general, like they will not say that right away. I mean, they might ask you if you like Trump or something, but that's just because like they're unhinged. Yeah. But they'll like maybe like throw it in a conversation on like your third conversation with them, like our friends, and ask about like the gun stuff. But I don't think that they're as like pointing fingers as New Zealanders, but I mean they do like have the media putting an image in their mind, but not as strongly as the Kiwis.
Yeah, but I don't know, it's just like, especially seeing all this stuff after Anzac Day and learning about like World War I and stuff and everything that like our ancestors had to go through, or like not even are really that far distant from us. Like our great grandparents were living during that time. I mean, like Grammy and Grampy were alive during World War II. That's just a wild. Grampy fought in World War II. That was my grandfather. But it's just wild to think about like the past like that and how crazy the world was back then. Because it just seems like it's. I mean, it seems crazy now, the world, but back then it was like, how does a complete world war start from just a guy getting assassinated in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, you know?
Kory's so fascinated by this, and I'm connecting the dots that it's because he's like an old soul who fought in World War I or II or something, because all his dreams are in black and white of like wars.
Well, sometimes I have a black and white dream of like being in like the mob and having a shootout with like a mafia. I don't know. That some analyst or dream analyst can dive into that for me.
Yeah, he always dreams about like wars. But anyways, I think we jumped a little bit ahead. So while we were in Albany, we were camping and we decided to treat ourselves to what they call a Big Four premier campsite. Mm-hmm. Big Four is a camping company or a caravan park company, and it was just like the best.
Oh my God, it was like the nicest caravan park we've stayed at, I think. I don't know. Max and I have sometimes different opinions about like what makes a good like caravan park. Like this one was on the higher end. I think it was like $60 Australian a night.
Like 69, I think.
Yeah, so it's 70, so that's like 40 US bucks. Still pretty cheap, but like typically all the campsites are around $30 to $40. So this one was a premier, and what did it have?
Oh my gosh. Can I go straight to the best thing?
Yeah, go right in.
The jumping pillow in this like children's playground area right in front of the front desk. They can just look directly out on the jumping pillow, and I was like, no kids are on this. Like, I'm gonna go ahead.
Well, Kory, describe what it is. It's just...
Oh, sorry. It's this giant, like...
It's like a pillow of a trampoline.
Yes,
It's a big, big trampoline that comes out of the ground.
It looks like a parachute, like the colorful parachutes in gym class, with a bunch of air underneath, and you hop on it, and it's a curved trampoline.
Yeah.
Like you're jumping on a massive...
Pillow. That's a trampoline. Yeah.
So we had a lot of fun bouncing on that as the front desk workers were probably watching us.
And we were joking, they're probably going to put like an age limit on it, or a sign that says Nobody over the age of 12 on here, please.
Yeah, after we did that. Because there was no age limit beforehand, but it was awesome.
Yeah. But this premiere had, or this Big Four premiere had everything. It had a hot tub, a nice pool, billiards tables, ping pong, a lounge room, good Wi-Fi, a really nice
arcade.
Yeah, they had a little arcade. They had so each of these places have like a camp kitchen, and this one attached to the camp kitchen was just a room that had, it was like the dining room that had a
wood burning stove.
Yeah, and it was basically a sauna in there.
But we did go to the actual, what they called the spa, the hot tub, and we were so excited. Mm-hmm. We get in there and it's like
lukewarm,
a little bit more than lukewarm, and it was a cold night that night. So we were like trying to embrace the little bit of warmth we were getting from it, but
and I think they put, to make it a spa, they put like,
oh, this is the best,
so much like bubbles or like soap in it or cleaning detergent, because it was all bubbles. Like,
it was literally someone dumped a bubble bath in it.
Yeah, and we were sitting.
It smelled like cleaning products.
Yeah, it smelled like cleaning products, and we were sitting in it, and there was like a foot of bubbles. We were like getting drowned by bubbles in there. Yeah, that was fun, but I wish it was hotter.
And the piece de resistance of the Big Four premiere was this man we met in the kitchen.
Oh my god!
And he was from
Washington D.C. area,
the U.S. of A, and he was wasted. And we don't really meet that many Americans. If you think about the amount of people we meet versus like how many are American, we don't meet a lot of Americans, and I can always identify them if I just hear them say like one or two words.
Yeah.
And I heard him talking to someone else, like he just said like, oh yeah, and I knew he was American. So when we started cooking our dinner, he was still in there because we saw him when we were just touring the place.
Yeah.
And he was obsessed with us.
Oh my god.
Kory, maybe you go into explaining him.
So he's playing like old classic rock music on his speaker, very loud. And I walk in there and I was like, oh yeah, nice tunes you got going. And then we came to the conclusion that we were both American. He's like, oh my god, just like, first off, so loud.
He was so loud.
Just like very boisterous and like kind of over the top, and also couldn't hear us. So we were being loud talking to him because, I don't know, he maybe had some hearing issues. Not really.
No,
but
I
just
think
like,
he was just drunk.
He was just a loud guy.
And
yeah.
he was loud. And he kept turning his music down to hear me talk.
Yeah.
But I am a soft talker.
But yeah, he wouldn't, we were getting in there to cook, and he just wouldn't leave us to cook our meal. And I don't know, he was also taking control of the kitchen space. And a lot of these are shared spaces where you have to be respectful, use the burner quick, then go on if someone's waiting, wash your dishes quick.
Yeah, or move your pans over to one side of the stove so someone can come on the left side.
Yeah, he was getting comfy.
And he said he was there since what time?
So we were in there about 7:00, and I think he said he was in there at 3:00. So he was already in there for 4 hours.
And he said he was there for 4 or 5 days, living at that campsite. And his campsite spot was right outside the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he was telling us all about his fish fries he's been doing in the camp kitchen. Just bizarre.
Yeah, and it was funny because we cooked our meal, we got out of there, and then came back, washed our dishes, and he was still cooking.
Yeah, I mean, he lived in there.
But while we were washing dishes, I was like, I want to check out the sauna, or not the sauna, yeah, the wood fire room. And there was a group of Australians in there. And I walk in, and it was Maxie walked in or just peeped their head in earlier, and it was a little awkward because what were they like? They were just
well, the door was open when I peeked my head through, and I was just like, oh, hi, and then just went back. I never left the main kitchen room. I just poked my head in.
Yeah, the half dozen Australians, and they're just whenever you walk into a room, everyone just looks at you.
Yeah, they did that.
And a really private room.
The door was completely shut when we were back to wash dishes, and Kory fully entered and went in, and
Yeah, so I went in and I was like, oh, just like, because it was a little awkward just walking in. And I was like, oh, hey, nice fire you guys got going in here. This is beautiful. I could stay in here and just, I don't know, making a little small talk. And they were like, yeah, it's nice in here as long as you don't bring him in. And they pointed at the guy outside.
He was so loud and annoying and drunk.
Yeah.
And he was pouring bagged wine into his water bottle.
Yeah.
His like Nalgene water bottle.
Yeah. Oh, but it was funny because those Australians were like, just annoyed with him.
Well, it was clear that everyone at the camp hated him. Like, this one woman stood at the, like, island waiting to cook for the whole time we were in there.
Yeah.
She was waiting for him to move, and he just was taking up the whole stove.
I don't know, just lack of awareness, lack of camp etiquette. But it was just kind of funny to look back on that guy, and he's just like a crazy fisherman dude. But he wasn't like, I don't know, he was a little weird.
Yeah, he was crazy. And then he was like obsessed with asking us where we were from and like talking about how he's been to Connecticut multiple times. And this is right when we first met him. And I kept saying, where are you from? Where are you from? Because he kept saying he like has been to Connecticut 100 times. And I'm like, where are you from? Where are you from? And he kept ignoring me. And I'm like, this guy's so sketchy.
Yeah, and I talked to him a little bit more, and he was like a big advocate for like striper fishing and like making more regulations to protect the striper industry, and that goes against commercial fishermen, so I don't like him.
And he's like, I'm going around all of Australia just fishing my way around.
Yeah. But there was also some other cool stuff in the town of Albany. There was also basketball courts everywhere, and I was like, all right, let's go shoot some hoops here. I haven't shot my shots in a couple days. Let's go check this place out. How are the hoops?
In Albany?
Yeah.
Low.
Every single, and this is coming off, these hoops are probably 8 foot, maybe like 8.5 feet. Right before this in Esperance, or was that in Esperance? Yeah. I forget where it was.
It was like on some random town.
Yeah. It was in Denmark, I think.
The one where we stopped to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So we stopped to go to the bathroom, and it was like kind of a sketchy outdoor type of bathroom, like a public toilet situation. Mm-hmm. And when I was leaving, there was also this random building with windows and stuff that I could see. Like, we parked on the other side of it, but I could see our car straight through the building because of the windows.
Oh, I didn't know.
And when I came out of the bathroom, I saw Kory sprinting, sprinting somewhere. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And he just found a basketball court, and he was sprinting to it with his basketball.
But these hoops were low. They're like, it was back-to-back hoops that weren't 10 feet. So I've been going, if you've seen my Instagram, I've been going ranking hoop courts of Australia. And these two hoops, they were low, and I got a nice clean dunk. And one was much higher. One was like 9.5 feet, and the other one, I got a nice clean dunk on the 9.5 foot one. But the lower one in Albany, I wanted to get a between the legs dunk, and I don't know. I haven't been jumping that much lately, so it took a lot of attempts and
just jumping for joy.
Yeah, it probably took 30 attempts, and I had Maxie record every single one of them. Maybe not 30.
My phone was dying. I was like, Kory, can you please do it right? Because I have 2%.
But I finally got it in the end, and the next day I was like sore in the weirdest spots just from jumping like that, like ankles and like from going between the legs, doing like a split in the air. Oh, it was a workout in itself. And
we jogged to the basketball courts and back. Been doing a little bit of running.
We've been and this month, the month of May, we're doing a Strava challenge with Dan, Joanne, Marshall, and Gabby. See how far, who can walk, run, and hike the most. So that's on the mind. After Albany, we headed over to Denmark.
They told us Denmark's or the book told us, Denmark's a hippie, artsy town where everyone's funky and you gotta see it. Mm-hmm. So we went there, bought crystals.
Yeah, it was a cool little town. These small towns are weird because it's literally just the town square with a dozen shops, if that, and they're it's so quirky. It's hippie, and it was hippie because there was a crystal store and like a health food store, and they're like, and I think that's why they call it like the hipster town.
Yeah, I mean, there might have been like one more shop that was hippie than that, but I feel like every town, every like decent sized town in Australia has a health food store, and we've been like all over those.
Oh,
like,
they're so nice.
That's where we do like half of our grocery shopping, all of our like toiletry items, everything. We love them. And I found this thing in one of them, and I go up to Kory and I'm like, hi. He's shopping, so I was like, hi, I found a little like dropper where you put the drops under your tongue, and it's supposed to bring abundance into your life, and it's $21. Should we get it? Expecting him to say no, and he goes, yeah. And so
we have the abundance juice now.
Yeah, we call it the abundance juice, and we have been doing morning and night droplets under our tongue, and I feel very abundant.
Oh, it's the best. And it has like, it's made out of like blessed water and brandy, and you can taste the brandy.
Yeah, it's the only thing I don't like, because we usually do it like after we brush our teeth that night, and I'm like, oh, now I have like brandy in my mouth.
Yeah, and Denmark was cool because it had the green pools where just the water comes into these shallow areas. They're like perfect for swimming. Like there's like basically like a rock garden protecting like a little swimming area, and just crystal clear water with beautiful blue and green. I didn't think they're really green. I thought they were
in the
more
distance
blue.
They were kind of green.
Yeah.
It was so pretty. I think that's what I like the most about this state is like it's so shallow for so far. So you have such a crystal clear light blue water to swim in, and it's shallow. I think that's why it looks so blue, because it's so shallow, and it just feels like safe for swimming because I mean they're sharks.
There are sharks, yeah, and it was funny we were in Denmark, yeah. In the town we were staying in, we went to like Ocean Beach. It was like their big town beach, and there was a guy. It was also blowing probably like 30 miles an hour wind, and a guy was on a kite surfing. And we were just watching him, and there's like a viewpoint where like people went and checked out the beach, and like everyone was watching him. We're like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then what happened the next day?
We found out that there was a shark at that beach.
Yeah.
Where he was kite surfing. And someone came out of the water like dripping wet from swimming.
Oh yeah, just a random dude was like just dripping wet. Like he went.
It was like a pretty cold evening.
Yeah, but
yeah, so then we did the green pools in Elephant Rocks, Elephant Cove the next day, and that was just really, really, really pretty. And I heard some locals talking about just the area, and I wish that was like my go-to beach. Like it was a very beautiful, special place, and
it'd be awesome if that was like
Brantford.
It's like yeah, if that was in Brantford, but even if it was like a Watch Hill distance from Brantford, that'd be so nice.
Yeah. So
yeah, that was lovely, and it seems like that southwest coast there, and they call this area of Australia the Australian Southwest. So it's kind of funny to hear that.
Well, they don't say the Australian Southwest.
They just say
the Southwest, and it's so funny to us.
Yeah, just like, oh, this is Arizona compared to
New Mexico.
Yeah. But also about the sharks, they had in Margaret River when we were there, there was just this beacon that said "Shark Alert System." And I was just wondering how it worked. I guess if someone sees a shark, they have to call it in, and then the thing rings, and then everyone gets out of the water.
Yeah, it's like a megaphone on a huge pole.
Yeah.
Shark alert system.
Yeah, and then, so it was about, how long was it from, we did this all in one day, Denmark to Margaret River. And I think it was about a 4-hour journey, and there was a bunch of stops in between, like the Elephant Rocks, the green pools.
Big tree country.
Yeah, they call this area the Big Tree Country. And you were making an observation about Australia.
Oh, I think you're getting at the fact that their trees are really small.
Yeah.
From what we've driven past, their trees are not so tall, like in the U.S. In like a normal state, we have pretty tall trees. but they're like more whimsical and short here and
thin.
Yeah, thin. So we think that like they just got some like pretty tall. They're very tall, but they're not like the redwoods. I haven't been there, but everyone's like, oh yeah, these are not the redwoods. Don't get excited.
Yeah.
But we think that like because they just found a patch of like normal tall trees, they had to call it like big tree country.
Yeah, and I forget the name of they're tingle trees, red tingles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this area of Australia.
And Kory.
Yeah.
Kory and tingle.
Oh yeah, those are the cool ones. The Kory tree had bark like cardboard that like stuck out vertically, if you can imagine that. This area of Australia was the last to separate from the Antarctic shelf. So like at one point Antarctica and Australia were connected, and this was the last point. So I guess the soil composition is different, and it's like a little more nutrient for big tree growth. And they had like this, so these trees are all like 400 years old, and they're massive, but not like massive compared to like, I feel like our trees back home, some of them are like that tall.
Yeah.
Except for the really big ones.
I mean, they're very tall, but like, I don't know, it felt familiar, basically.
Yeah.
They're very tall. They're like 75 meters tall.
Yeah, so I guess that is pretty big. And they did a really cool thing where they had a walking path, like a suspended bridge walking path through the tall trees, which was really cool.
They call the tall trees the ancient empire because they're all just like in one area.
Old trees, yeah. And you can walk up through the trees and walk around, and it was fun, just a little fun activity to do.
What'd they call it? The treetop walk or something?
Treetop walk. And yeah, there was like, they showed how like these trees are affected by fire, and like how they can just, if the inside is burned, no matter what, if they're still touching the ground, they can still grow, which was pretty cool to see that trees are like fire resistant like that. And there's like two really, really big trees. A
Gloucester tree or Gloucester, I don't know how they say it here.
Gloucester.
That's how we say it. But the really big one is the Dave Evans Bicentennial Tree, which is such a funny name. We went to that one because it was like an hour and 40 minutes away from like the treetop walk.
Yeah.
And that one was very tall. But you used to be able to climb it all the way to the top. I think you can climb the Gloucester tree, but they don't let you climb the Dave Evans Bicentennial Tree anymore.
No, not anymore.
It looks really sketchy.
Oh, it looks so sketchy. It was basically like a spiral staircase that goes around the entire tree, and you just have to walk up it. But maybe next time. Maybe they said it's unsafe. Like, what's going to happen? The tree's going to fall over? Come on.
I feel like the person would fall off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. No one was working it, and no one was really there. But I feel like they don't provide safety harnesses. But they must, right?
They must.
I don't know.
Yeah, so those were basically our pit stops in between Denmark, and Margaret River was like our final destination because we wanted to see the Anzac sunrise service and just like check out Margaret River because everyone's like, oh, you got to go to Margs. It's the best.
Yeah, people rave about Margaret River from all over the country.
Yeah, and so we checked it out. We got there before sunset, which is we've been doing really good about driving only during the day and avoiding driving at night as much as possible due to animals and stuff. And
we're so responsible.
We're so responsible. And we got there and we got to walk along Margaret River, and it was nice.
Lots of ducks.
Yeah, lots of ducks. They love us.
There was also a rave in the woods.
Oh, yeah. We were just walking down. There must have been a parking lot at the end, but just all of a sudden we start hearing just these loud EDM music and like
house music.
Yeah, we get to the end and we see someone on like a log that sticks out into the water, just like dancing and bobbing his head or just like jamming.
Yeah, hooligans.
The youth hooligans.
We were actually scared and we did not go all the way down.
I don't know. It was Friday night. It was
getting dark.
Yeah, we didn't want to be in there.
But then we went to a Thai restaurant that Kory wanted to go to, and it was pretty good.
Yeah,
it was okay.
These restaurants here, just the amount of service, it's because there's no tipping. So the service culture is not as good as the States. And I think that's just like bottom line, not as good as the States.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't even bring the food out at the same time. Like,
yeah, and they'll bring your appetizers at the same time as your main meal unless you tell them, like, I want this to come first.
Yeah, but I have a theory about that. I think that, because this was the second place that asked us. And and they were like, do you want your spring rolls first? And we're like, yeah, sure. Then they bring the spring rolls, and then like another 40 minutes goes by and they bring the main course, or like your meal.
But they brought yours, and I sat there for like 10 minutes waiting for mine. That's what they do here. They just bring them out as they're ready, and it's really frustrating because you have to like stare at the other people at the table eating.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's really uncomfortable. They do it nearly everywhere, and they just need to learn to
just bring them out at the same time.
Yeah,
it's easy.
So Kory's theory is if you ask for it, which I don't think this is an accurate theory because it happens everywhere, and they've only asked us twice if we want our appetizers first. But he thinks that if you say yes, I want my appetizers first, they also think yes, we'll bring everything out as it's ready. Is that what you think?
No, I think like
My bad.
No, that's kind of it. They make your appetizer, bring it out, and then once they bring it out, then they start making your actual food. So they're not like making all your food at once and then like bring the appetizers out as you're ready, and then like 5 minutes goes by. As soon as you finish your appetizer, then your meal comes out. I think it's like two different tickets. Like they put in the appetizer and then they move your like meal down the line, and then just like I don't know. It just seems like it takes too long for the main meal to come out.
It's ridiculous. But Margaret River was cool. I'm really confused because like the town, everyone's like, oh yeah, great surfing there, and the town is inland.
Yeah,
it's like 15 minutes inland from the coast, and there's not really like a town on the coast there. So I guess they like say Margaret River is the town, but there is like a little neighborhood of people that live there. It's called Preveley. Maybe it's a town. We didn't really explore it.
I looked at it in the map. It just looks like houses. So I don't know. There wasn't really not even a coffee shop there.
Yeah, and I don't know why they don't say Preveley's surfing is awesome. They say Margaret River's surfing is awesome. But there was a WSL World Surfing League contest, just like the Rip Curl Pro we went to at Bells Beach a month ago. There was one in Margaret River.
Yeah, we just missed it by a couple days, like 3 days.
Yeah, we just missed it.
It would have been cool to go, and we went out to Surfer's Point where the wave break, where the surf comp was, and just like wandered around, checked it out, and it was beautiful. Like the wave was pretty cool. It was a point break, and there was like a double point break, so there was like two surfable waves. You had two rights and two lefts, which you could take, which was pretty cool. Nice wave, cool to see, and we kind of walked around, and someone was telling us that the salmon were running at this time, and so I was expecting the actual Margaret River to be like loaded with salmon, but it was pretty like shallow and stagnant and not really that nice.
Yeah, and this was our first time touching the Indian Ocean.
Oh, yeah, India, mate.
Indian Ocean, and it was so warm. So warm. And that's when we realized that the Southern Ocean equals the Antarctic Ocean. They just rebranded it to the Southern Ocean. Everyone calls it the Southern Ocean.
Yeah, that Southern Ocean was pretty chilly, but the water's so nice here.
Well, like in comparison, the Indian Ocean is bathwater. And it's so blue.
It is so blue.
I could look at it all day. And then there was a statue we took a walk down the beach near Surfer's Point, and there was this like bronze statue sitting on a rock, like literally a natural rock in the ocean, kind of like in between the beach and the little tide pools. And it was legs crossed, I think, staring at us.
It looked like it had a surfboard. And it looked like it was meditating or looking at us.
Yeah. And I asked Kory, I was like, oh, is this person staring us down? And he was like, yeah, I don't know if we should walk over there. Because it was just like a very unfriendly vibe.
Oh, it was so weird. Yeah, it looked like creepy.
We thought it was a person, but it was just a statue, and we walked by it, and it was literally a statue of a woman. It was pretty cool. I think she was holding a fish. Yeah. But we thought it was some scary man trying to ward us off because, as we know, surf culture is kind of intense. Territorial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then so that brings us to where we are now, Bustleton. After Margs, we went up and we met the family that we're sitting doing a dog sit for. It was Jeff, Julie, and doggies Cujie, who is still warming up to us after day 6.
Yeah, today is day 6.
Yeah.
He is very afraid of us. He's like a sweetheart. We feel very bad for him.
No, like
we're trying everything. He's afraid. They told us, they made like a few comments that we're now all piecing together as like they knew that this was gonna be the case, but they didn't want to
scare us off.
Yeah,
I think this is their first experience on the app.
We're the first dog sitters. They said they haven't gone anywhere since COVID. They don't have anyone at their house, just because like they go out to dinner with friends and they don't host.
Yeah.
So they inferred like Cujie never sees anyone.
Yeah.
And he was growling at us the whole time. They were showing us around the house, and it's like this not scary growl. It's because he's not gonna.
He is scared. Growl.
He's scared.
Yeah.
It's not like he's gonna bite us. Yeah, it's just like he's like, I'm nervous.
Yeah, but the best part about this sit isn't the dogs. It's Julie and Jeff, the parents of the dogs. They are so nice.
They have been above and beyond, and like Kory was like, maybe it's because they knew that the dog was going to be such a nervous wreck and like not let us actually walk him or anything. But they're above and beyond.
They usually the past couple sits they'll give us like chocolates. That's happened twice now. Not only did these guys give us a full basket of chocolates, they gave us nougat.
A huge container of fancy nougat.
2 bottles of local wine.
Yeah.
They were like very
gummies.
Nice. Yeah, very nice about
gummies.
Using all their like food in the house. And
they went shopping for us. They put steaks and bacon and almond milk and oat milk and everything in the fridge for us.
And they also gave us $200.
Yeah, so we're not sure if we're supposed to take that because this like is a free exchange of services. But then again, like if you're dog sitting for 2 weeks for someone in the US, like they're gonna pay you.
Yeah.
Most likely.
So these people, they like, I think they are like overcompensating a little bit just because this dog has been. I mean, the dog is like not difficult. We're like, he won't let us walk him, but like he has his doggy door, so he's able to go out and exercise in the backyard. But it's been like pretty easy. Like this is one of the easiest dog sits because I feel bad, but the dog is like warming up to us little by little, but he kind of just wants to do his own thing.
Yeah, I think Kory's finding it easier. I just want to pet him. I got to pet him for the first time, besides when his parents were here. He let me pet him a little bit. I got to pet him for the first time on morning 5, or maybe morning 4, day 5.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I like took him by surprise, but he let me pet him and
give him a treat. Yeah. I mean, we've been working all the stops, trying to like give him food, like really trying with this dog, but it's just like he won't warm up to us.
Yeah,
and it's crazy because I don't think any other dog, like if you were living in a dog's house, he wouldn't be scared of you because we've been here 6 days. Like
I haven't been able to pet him today yet. I try all the time. It's like really weighing heavy on me that he doesn't love us.
And the house is really nice too. It's like in this community, so there's like a bunch of other houses that are similar around it. And like when they were showing us around the house, they were like, oh yeah, like you could use all this. This is how you use this. And they're like, well, we've actually never used our dishwasher, so we don't really know how to use it.
But she's like, by all means, use it. And then she's like, here's the oven. I've never used it. And we were cracking up. And she was like, oh, no, it's because I have a bad hip and I don't want to lean down. But, like, come to find out, they've been here 3 years. And, like, your husband hasn't used it?
Yeah. I guess they're air fryer gang.
Yeah, so they like cook everything in the air fryer, I guess. But I think that and she insists that we should not clean when we leave. We're gonna clean.
Yeah.
But she kept insisting, like, do not clean a thing. Oh, I'm gonna do it anyways when I get home. So I think that she's just very OCD, but like a highly functioning OCD person, because she wasn't like, don't like live in my house, like don't use my things. Like she was like, no, please use the oven, please use the dishwasher, please use this in my house. So she was like very generous and like sincere about it, but I think that she personally must have
A little OCD.
A little OCD, like to not use an oven or a dishwasher in 3 years.
Yeah, that was a bit odd. Or they just eat out a ton. And
yeah.
I mean, this area, Bustleton, is a nice area. It has tons of restaurants, but it's definitely most famous for the pier that's here, the longest timber pier in the southern hemisphere. And we were like, all right, let's go check it out. We had some time before meeting Jeff, Julie, and Cujie. And we're like, oh, let's go check it out. Let's go walk it. It'll probably take us like 30 minutes or whatever. And come to find out, they charge you to walk it during the day. And then we looked it up, and they're like, oh, they don't charge you to walk it after 5 o'clock. So we're like, whatever, we're going to come back at 5 o'clock. I'm not paying the $4.
Literally $4 per person. We could have paid that because that converts to like, I don't know, $2.
$2.50, yeah.
Like, Kory was like, we're not paying that. No, I'm kidding. We were like, let's go watch 2 Up because it's Anzac Day, and that's the only time we can experience it this year. So we went to go watch 2 Up. But we did go for free after 5 p.m. Yeah. We had like an early dinner one night, and we walked to the pier for free, and that was pretty cool.
And it feels finally good to be in a house again. We haven't really been like in a proper house since we left Melbourne, and basically we camped the last 14 of 18 days just living out of our car, and I'd say it's a success because I love our rooftop tent. It doesn't feel like camping at all. It feels like a proper space.
Yeah, it feels like a house, because I'm shocked to hear that we camped for 14 days out of an 18-day span.
Yeah, it felt like...
It doesn't feel like a tent. It's nice. We have our lights in there.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's nice because cozy. All the campsites have like showers and stuff, so you don't get that dirty camping feel. Like we did go some days like on the Nullarbor without like proper facilities, but like
just these one day.
Yeah, these caravan parks make it pretty easy because they have everything.
But yeah, we've been trying to get some exercise in here and there. Now Kory has his bike back.
Back on the bike, baby.
Follow him on Strava. He's practically an influencer.
Soon, I'll hope to be the first Strava influencer. And there's like really nice. This area is like has tons of activities, and there's a bike park that's like 20 minutes away. That's on like a golf course and goes like really well built trails. And my first time there, Maxie went on a run while I biked, and it was like sunset, and there was just kangaroos everywhere. There was probably 400 kangaroos just like chilling on one hole of the golf course. And
Dunsborough.
Yeah, in Dunsborough. So it was cool to see, being part of the local kangaroo community. And they let you get really close to them. Like I took a video of one, and they were just like staring at me right on the side of the trail, maybe 10 feet away. But it's cool to see the little guys. They're kind of cute.
Yeah, and I went on a run, and my shoes, I just don't have good shoes, I think. So they're kind of old too. That could be it. But I feel like every time I hit the 5K mark when I go on a jog, my right foot goes numb and I get a blister on like my arch. And I just decided like this is pretty bad this time. Like it's painful. I need a new pair of shoes. I'm just going to invest. So we went on a shoe hunt, but my foot was still like had a very sore blister right on the bottom.
Yeah, it's an odd spot too, right on your arch.
Yeah, so I was like, none of these shoes feel really that good. I did get really close to deciding between 2 pairs at Anaconda, and I don't know, just like one was like low cut and felt like it was falling off my foot when I ran, and I liked the feel of those ones the best except for that part. And then...
But if anyone has any trail running hybrid shoes for Maxie, please send in your recommendations.
Yeah, Kory was like, and I get blisters between my toes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, when I'm hiking and stuff, not when I'm running. And Kory accuses me of not knowing how to walk. And he forced me to get toe socks at Anaconda.
Oh, probably the best investment of Maxie's life. These toe socks are basically gloves for your feet.
I don't know if it's the best investment. I really haven't used it in the wild yet, but...
They look so funny.
They're kind of cozy.
I've never seen funnier socks, and they slipped right onto your toes. It wasn't even hard putting them on, huh?
Except for the broken toe. But yeah,
we'll find shoes for you soon.
I'll update you guys. I have been going on some speed walks in my Crocs because I'm just not going to put those sneakers back on until I get a new pair.
Yeah, Henry Cassis, our neighbor back home, said running in Crocs gives you better form.
Yeah.
And yesterday, or 2 days ago, we went, so this area is known for its wine as well. I don't know if I said that earlier, but driving around, there's just vineyards everywhere. And literally every single street has like a winery, cellar door, tasting. So everyone says it's like a super popular wine area, and it is. It's, I think, what was the stat?
So they're known for what the book said, they're known for their whites. They have 3 or 2% of Australia's
total wines.
Yeah, wines, but 25% of their premium wines is from this region.
So I guess quality wines are here, and it's like a really remote place too, so it's pretty cool just to explore around, and just vineyards everywhere. And we went to like 5 vineyards yesterday or 2 days ago.
So we went to Voyager Estate, which was really, really nice, and like the girl working only charged us for one person's tasting, and we made friends with her. And they had a rose garden, and Kory read the sign as rosé garden, which that's what it should be.
Yeah.
But it was really pretty there, and they had a massive Australian flag, and it was breathtaking.
Yeah, I think that was like the most beautiful one we went to.
Yeah, and then the most famous one, that one's like one of the top 2 most famous, but I think Leeuwin Estate is the most famous one in the area, and that had an art gallery downstairs, so that was cool.
Yeah, we went to another one called Xanadu.
Xanadu.
Which is, what did he say it means? It means like...
paradise.
Yeah, paradise.
Or something. And then we had lunch at the Cheeky Monkey Brewery. Kory wanted some cider.
Yeah, there were some cideries around here that we saw, like, as I was driving, I saw some, but we didn't end up going. But that'd be cool to check out. I'm all into cider now. I haven't had beer since... probably for the last 3 months, because I don't know, it made my, like, I think I had like some sort of allergy to it, because it would always make my nose stuffy, so I'm cider and wine.
You're gluten-free.
Yeah.
And then we tried to go to a place called Woodlands Wine at 4:20, and they were like, sorry, we stopped tastings at 4:15 because we take 45 minutes to do it, which is BS, because a wine tasting could literally be 10 minutes.
And that was what our last one was.
Yeah, so she sent us across the street to a different winery, and it was like a 10-minute experience, and it was cool.
Yeah.
Piero was the last one.
Yeah, and that's kind of been it. We've really actually gotten into Below Deck lately. We binged Below Deck Sailing Yacht Season 2, which it had to be the best season ever.
I don't think I've seen a better reality show season ever in my life besides Sailing Yacht Season 2.
Yeah, because it's just like, you got a crazy crew. Like, the people on there are crazy. It was also filmed during COVID, so like, people were extra crazy then.
The drama was Chef's Kiss. The casting Chef's Kiss.
The guests were crazy. Like,
yes. Oh, it was
it's so
good.
funny because you could have a crazy crew, and then you could have crazy guests come on, and just complete chaos on the boat.
And they say the funniest things, and the editors are so good.
Yeah. So we would highly recommend it. We want to watch the rest of the seasons, but we don't know where to find them.
Yeah, we were able to watch like regular Below Deck on the motor yachts. Season 7 is like the one that's available down here.
Yeah, it's not as good as
and
season
it's just
2.
not as good. It's just not as good. So we're just like watching it to watch it, but
yeah, we love it.
We love it.
And we were actually thinking, like, who would make a good, when we go on Below Deck one day with all our friends and family, who would make good, like, guest members? So we're just compiling lists and just thinking about how funny some people would be on the show.
Yeah, and if you're listening, my first response was, like, Alicia, Brianna, and then, I don't know if you listen, but I was like, 100% Madison Miller. Like, we have to bring Madison Miller.
Yeah, that whole family would be so fun on the boat.
Yeah.
Because they tell the guests to make just, like, out-of-pocket demands and just be, like, I guess the TV producers are like, you have to be extra, like, asks for, like, I'll have an iced coffee with 4 ice cubes and, like, just wild stuff. So they make it so it's, like, they want drama, so they try and tell the guests to cause drama, but just like...
Or just to be, like, needy and picky and judgy. Sorry, I meant Madison Cassis.
Oh, yeah.
Has a new last name. But you also said my mom and aunts. That would be
wild, yeah.
So good. Sometimes an all-girls guest charter is some of the most dramatic.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is all we have for you this week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Do you have anything else for the...
Thank you guys. It's a long one. We kind of waited an extra few days to record this because we were just lazy.
We were settling in, not lazy.
Yeah, enjoying the comforts of being in a house versus tent.
Yeah. Well, we hope everyone has a good day.
Have a good day.
Love you guys.
Love you.